Collins. 30 minutes. Show with David Collins.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show. I'm your host, David Collins. I'm very excited for today's episode. First, I want to thank everybody that's been listening. I'm very excited for the reach that we found. And it's not only people down there in my old market area, it's not only people here in Iowa that's finding the show, it's turning into a national, even international audience. It's getting so big, I can't even tell you right now what you might be listening on. That's how big the show is getting right now. I do have a correction from last week. We strive to be honest, trustworthy, factual, and we need to correct this. It's from a game too, and we want those all to be fair. So I apologize if this affected anybody's ability to get the answer right. Last week we had a question where the answer, we called it Blue Moon. It was actually, the answer was Blue Movie. It's an Andy Warhol erotic film, so I apologize that we called it Blue Moon. It's actually Blue Movie. On that same note of quality, we're still looking on getting new people involved on the team, some people in production, so we can avoid those errors. Somehow it went through all the editing process and nobody on the team caught it, so we'd like to get a few more people on there. We've gone through a few interviews this week already for a co-host spot. You've heard a couple auditions. We're going to get somebody in studio next week to actually be on the show auditioning as a co-host, so we're going to see how that goes, and we're going to do that a couple of times maybe. One thing I wanted to address today, a listener had sent me this clip. Apparently we're kind of being watched by some haters right now. We might be on a list to get a little negative attention. So he brought this to light. I appreciate you bringing it to my attention. I'm not even going to mention the name of the show. We don't want that type of negativity, but we'll go ahead and take a listen to the clip.
Oh, you're reviewing me? I mean, you're not reviewing some stupid fuck that's picking corn in Iowa now, are you?
Ooh, they don't boo nobodies. The old, they don't boo nobodies.
And we are doing that Iowa guy next week.
Yeah, we do that all the
That's
time.
actually the teaser.
So even if it's negative attention, still might be good publicity. If they send some of their listeners over to us, maybe they'll just end up being our listeners too. So appreciate you bringing that to my attention though. It's a gloomy day in Iowa today. One of those days that make me wish I was back in Manhattan. But it's also a great day because it's also one of those days that make me wish that I made the decisions that led me to be here. I'm right now in a green room of the Lucky Cat Comedy Club in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I'm looking at a sign right now that says Aloe Means Green Room. So we know we're on our way up here. The comedy community here has really embraced David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show, and we have an exclusive guest today that has not been seen on virtually any other podcast. So it's really exciting to get him in here. Before we get into the show, color of the day. Today's color of the day, chartreuse. Today's color of the day, chartreuse. One of the few colors with a name more beautiful than the color itself, chartreuse. Sponsor of today's episode. I really appreciate this. Like I mentioned last time, these sponsors are what allow us to keep David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show commercial-free. So I appreciate this week Hillside Cafe, located at 2307 Stag Hill Road in Manhattan, Kansas. Casual American and Mexican grub offered in an unpretentious restaurant with down-to-earth decor. Hillside Cafe offers free delivery and delicious indoor dining. I love this place, and I'd encourage anyone who's in the area to go down and try their Taylor Special. Hillside Cafe, thanks for thinking of me and reaching out. I've been thinking of you. And if anybody wants to reach out and be a sponsor on the show, send me an email to dc30minutehalfhour@gmail.com, and we can talk about what kind of packages we have for the sponsors on the show. Today's guest, I'm very excited to announce. He's a bit of a mover and shaker in the area here. I want to introduce to the David Collins audience today, Jameson Cox. Welcome to the show, Jameson.
Hey, thanks so much, David. It's a real pleasure to be here. Real pleasure to be here. What was the name of that podcast that you played earlier?
That was a show. I'm not even sure. I'd have to go back and look at the email, actually. I didn't want to bring it to light. It's negativity that we don't need on this show.
It sounded good. It sounded professional.
They are professional, but they do a lot of hating, and we don't.
I mean, are they professional haters?
You could say that. Can you make an industry out of professional haters?
Hey, check out my YouTube comment section and you tell me. Pal.
We're going to get right there. Do you have a YouTube? We don't have that in our credits here. Jameson Cox is a host of a podcast called SoundCloud Rappers.
That actually is canceled.
It's canceled. Bad blood with the co-hosts.
Yeah, one of them died. The other one moved to Texas.
Oh. Well, they used to solve...
She's not dead, but...
is that, we wanted to get into this too. This is going way off the rails,
wow.
and I knew that's how it was going to do. This guy's a wild guy that we have in here today.
I'm a wild one.
And we came into his home base, so we got to be a little careful. They used to solve politics, run for their lives, and chill everything out. And you could find them, and you could still find some of their old episodes at redcircle.com/shows/sound-cloud-rappers.
We're also on Spotify and iTunes.
Oh, that's great that you were able to get your shows on there.
Yeah, all you had to do is submit it.
He's also a big guy in the area. No pun intended.
Hurts.
He books, organizes, and hosts many shows around Eastern Iowa. You can follow him and his career Tate on Instagram. Also, reach out if you're looking on getting any shows in the area. He's definitely a guy to talk to.
Can I ask you a quick question? Is the team that told you it's hard to get on Spotify and iTunes the same team who did the guest research?
Incidentally.
Because the Instagram, I'd like you to erase that. That's my personal Instagram for friends and family. My professional Instagram is Jameson Cox.
We'll edit that out. Editor?
It's a hard job to edit.
Really? You're not doing a podcast anymore? Are you working on any new projects right now?
Yeah, I'm on a new podcast we're probably going to cancel it soon, but right now we're still doing it. It's called Poor Things.
Poor Things?
Yeah.
You can find that on Spotify?
You find that on Spotify. That's on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, national syndication on iHeartRadio. You're on iHeartRadio, right?
Hey, that sound means it's time for our first game. That's great. I'm excited. And hopefully our team got this correct. You're from Florida, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Because our first game is based on that. Our first game is called Find the Fake Florida Man.
Okay.
We're going to go through Florida stories, some news stories from Florida. A couple of them are true. One of them is going to be false. It's a little two truths and a lie. You're going to have to figure out which of these Florida stories are untrue.
I'm excited to prove.
Are you ready to play Find the Fake Florida Man?
Let's find them.
Great. I'm excited for this game. Well, at least my research team was able to get one thing right today. You do have the questions in front of you here, but I'll go ahead and read. This is Find the Fake Florida Man. Round 1, letter A. We're going to go through 3 of these. Is this true or false? We're going to go James Gauss, age 34, was discovered by a deputy who saw his foot sticking out of the bottom of a porta potty. This man was stuck. When the deputy opened the bathroom door, they found the man with fentanyl and a syringe. A little typical. Could be true. The porta potty's a little weird. Let's look at the second one. Jeff Stoll, age 65. What started as a routine traffic stop ended with this officer discovering 400 kilos of illegal alligator meat hidden underneath his back seats. That must have been the happiest police dog in Florida that day.
I bet.
The third one, Janiah Douglas, 26. She was on a mission, and so was that cop. An officer noticed her speeding down the road and attempted to pull her over. She refused and was eventually driven off the road. When asked why she did not pull over, she told officers getting arrested has been on her bucket list since high school.
That's tough.
Now, Jameson, we have 3 stories there. Which of those 3 do you think might be fake? 2 of them are true, 1 of them are fake. What do you think?
Well, I think C, Janiah Douglas, is the fake one.
Janiah Douglas. It does sound like a tough name here. Let's go ahead and see. Are you correct? Oh.
That means wrong. That buzzer sound meant that's the fake one?
That's the incorrect answer.
Okay.
The fake one is Jeff Stoll, 65, a routine traffic stop. That story's just made up. This should be right in your ballpark. Last week we asked comedy questions to our comedian guests, and this week we're asking Florida questions to our Florida guests.
How'd the comedy questions with the comedy
He did well on the
go?
last one, so maybe you'll get this one here. He didn't do well leading up.
How many rounds is there?
For a fake Florida man, I think we only got 2 rounds today.
Oh, okay. So no warm-up round.
No, that was your warm-up round there. We're going to go ahead and try the second round. A little different than arrests this time. Round 2. The first one private plane owner had a bucket list item of his own to check off. In 2015, radar tracked a private plane over Lakeland, drawing a penis in the air. Florida, huh?
That's Florida.
The second one. Leading up to the 2016 election, people were doing anything to encourage others to vote. You remember that. One Tampa Bay man was reported to have written anti-Hillary messages underneath hundreds of crabs. Or is it the third one? A restaurant in Orlando wanted to try their own new secret recipe. This Kentucky Chicken and Grill was shut down after reports of, quote, homegrown beef was being served to the customers.
Quick question on the copy. It says the Kennedy Chicken and Grill.
Did I mispronounce that?
Either you mispronounce it or this team you have messed up again.
Yeah, I might have said Kentucky Chicken. That's an easy little faux pas there. It was Kennedy Chicken and Grill.
Oh, it was supposed to be Kennedy Chicken.
It must be because...
So maybe your team's fine. You're the problem.
Find the fake Florida man.
I'm
It's not the team. It sounds like you. I think you're giving yourself a little extra time on this question here.
I'm gonna go with B. Right at the buzzer, B.
Let's see. Was it B? You were in time. Oh, it wasn't B. What could it have been? Oh, I guess it was that one. It doesn't matter if it was Kentucky or Kennedy because that was just made up entirely.
Well, you threw me off by mispronouncing, so I really think that should be a speed round, but I understand that you probably aren't prepared for that.
Maybe we'll just say you have 1.5 losses on that one. Thanks for playing. Did you Find the Fake Florida Man?
It was okay.
That's a good game. I'm glad we're still able to come up with these games. One thing you can say about the staff, always able to come up with a new game to play on the show. Now, Jameson, you have your own podcast. Apparently you have a couple that we've never heard of. You keep them a little secret, and we also don't see you on a lot of other podcasts. Is there a reason for that?
I don't like them.
You don't like podcasts?
Don't like podcasts very much.
The genre of podcasts? Because, I'm a big fan of radio. I've been radio for 10 years.
I'm more of a radio guy. It'd be fun. I was a little thrown off. I thought this was a radio show.
No, unfortunately, I've been off the radio since April 2022.
No, I used to listen to your show. This isn't that?
This is not that, no. And how would you have listened to it?
I travel a lot for comedy. I find myself in Manhattan, Kansas on a regular basis.
That's interesting. What clubs do you work there?
There's this one called the Chuckle Hut. It's pretty good. Have you not been?
I've never been to the Chuckle Hut. No, I've only been to Stanford and Sons Comedy Club.
I hear you've started doing stand-up. Is that true?
I actually started 10 years ago at the Stanford and Sons Comedy Club.
But here, you started doing it around here now.
I've dabbled in stand-up for about 10 years now.
I bring this up I hate to interrupt you on this, but I'm going to...
No, it's fine.
Next time
people interrupt each other all the time. You speak, you're the
Next
guest.
time I go to Chuckle Hut, why don't you come open for me?
That would be phenomenal.
Are you back in Manhattan?
I would love to do that. In fact, we're kind of jumping a little bit, but I wanted to ask you what makes a good comic?
Not answering that question.
You think just answering that question will make you a good comic? I was looking for an answer to that question.
Asking it also.
Well, the reason I asked
puts you in the wrong direction.
Because I want to see if you were able to identify what a good comic sounds like, or what a good comic writes like. I thought we had it's not one of the games today, but I came up with this little idea. I thought I'd run by you since you're a very respected comedian around here. I don't know how you're not getting on these shows, how people aren't paying you to be on these shows. Everybody has positive things to say about this guy.
That's what I thought.
So I have 2 jokes here. One of them is written and told by a professional comedian on his 2021 stand-up special.
Okay.
The other one is a joke that I wrote.
Okay.
And I want to go by both of those and see if you could figure out which one is which. Okay.
Do you want me to first tell you which one is the true comedian?
If you could guess the comedian too.
No. I mean, who has the comic's heart of what it will take to be a good comedian? I bet I can tell by the joke.
Well, that's great if it's a little twofer. Although this gentleman is doing pretty well for himself, and I think he's hilarious.
I'll be the judge of that.
Let's go ahead and check these. For the first joke here, you'll go ahead and try out which one is it. I called the suicide hotline the other day. Hell, if these guys are going to get any sales.
It's very funny.
There's a joke.
That was funny.
Now, it might be mine. It might be a professional stand-up comedian's. Let's go ahead and see if you can tell by this next joke which one's which. Next joke. This woman offered me a Mexican cookie. I said, what's a Mexican cookie? Like a chocolate chip with salsa all over it?
That's good. Did you write that joke?
Which one do you think? I might just take credit for that one.
That second one with the salsa on the cookie.
Do you like that salsa?
That's a funny joke.
That's a great joke. Can you guess that comedian? It's one of my favorite comedians, actually. He wasn't in the scene until the last few years.
God, Dave Chappelle? He wasn't in the scene until the last few years?
Last few years. He's
that's a new
newer comedian.
That's not a legend. That's not a legend. That's not one of the 1,000. He's
becoming a legend. He's got a crazy fan base. We were talking about haters earlier. This guy has got a fan base of both haters and people that love
There's only 1,000 real comedians in the world. And this guy must be in the top 10. I don't even know if it's a guy. Maybe is it Sarah Silverman?
It was Brendan Schaub.
Oh, he's a dude. Great guy.
Are you a fan of him too?
Great guy. Never met him.
That's great. Do you listen to Fighter and the Kid?
And dude, anyone can wear a flannel shirt and talk about their penis and be funny. But Schaub's at kind of a higher level. It's more of a thinking man's comedy. And you can tell by how he dresses and like matches his shoes and everything. Honestly, I only like 5 comics, and Schaub is one of them. I'm surprised I didn't know that joke. What special was that off of? The Showtime one?
No, his YouTube special, Gringo Poppy, which I wanted to ask you, a lot of these comics now, are they putting out these specials on YouTube? It seems to be more advantageous towards it. Have you ever considered doing a special and putting it on YouTube?
I mean, you got to bet on yourself.
Do you not bet on yourself?
That's what putting it on YouTube is. You got to bet on yourself. I've talked to some of these places
So
about getting a special on like
You have.
Vimeo and Rockfin.
have you filmed any of your jokes?
Yeah, like on a pretty good setup, similar to yours. I just on my cell phone. It's the iPhone XS Max, so it's pretty good.
No,
Is that your cell phone?
I'll just let it.
Oh, okay. It is distracting.
I could
I
edit
feel
it.
like I was
I can
really.
just edit this out. This happened last week too. It's very frustrating.
I feel like
but
we're really getting somewhere good.
I'll just try it.
I'll wait it out. Let me know when the phone's done.
Hello? Hello?
Hello again, Mr. David Collins.
Oh, it's you again.
Yes, it's me, the gas cap criminal. I went to the Quick Trip in Brooklyn, Iowa this morning, and found the gas cap was right where I left it.
This is stupid. Nobody could have figured out a Quick Trip in Brooklyn, Iowa. Can I just have my gas cap back?
You'll have to find it first. Here's the next clue. On the banks of the Ohio, I can be found. In the city where the Reds play ball all year round. My gas station is off exit 6, you see. It's a perfect pit stop for you and me.
This is messed up, man. You're in Ohio now? I'll never find this gas cap.
You better try harder. I'll be moving it again next week. It's up to you to find it.
Wait. He hung up again. This guy, he's been harassing me. He stole my gas cap last week. He said something about Ohio. If anybody wants to go back and listen to that clue, I'd really appreciate it. Apparently, he moved the gas cap. It's very frustrating. We have a thing. We'll get back to the interview here. I'm sorry that he had to interrupt the show. Maybe I'll just take that out and stop indulging this guy because he's clearly getting a rise.
You need your gas cap back. So if you take it out, how are the people going to help? What are you going to not have a gas cap?
Jameson's right, and he's on board. Austin was on board last week. If anybody can help me find my gas cap, email me dc30minute@gmail.com with the solution to that riddle. I'm sorry, and I really wanted to get this question before we had to move on to the next segment here, so it's a little frustrating. I ask this to everybody. So you write, you drive, how do you write your material?
I don't write. I just get on stage, and what I like to do is kind of, it's like jazz,
Well, I've heard that you even organize a crowd show.
I just go. I just get up and go. Like,
hey, that sound means it's time for our second game. That's great, and I'm really excited for this game too. This is one of my favorites. We might be bringing it back a little bit from the first episode, if you insist on calling it that. But oh no, we've lost the game here. Oh, here we go. The game is called Name the Screenplay. It's a movie edition.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to read a screenplay.
Oh, I remember. I listened to the TV one.
Exactly. So we did it with
those
sitcoms
guys were
originally.
idiots.
They did not know the sitcoms very well.
Right.
They almost got one, but they were out of time. So we're going to try this one. This is movie edition.
Okay.
So we have our game sheet there. We're going to go ahead and read. Do you want to read character one? I'll read character one. You read character two. How about that?
Yeah. I'm character one.
I'm character one. Character two. So you have to guess. You'll read your part here.
Am I?
I'm character one. You're character two.
Okay.
So we'll read the screenplay, and then from that short, you'll have to guess what movie it is. Now, I'm a bit of a film buff, so these are going to be movies that you're going to be slapping yourself. Why didn't I get that? Auntie M was even going to let them kill him yesterday for biting Miss Gulch. Oh, please, Professor, why can't we go with you and see all the crowned heads of Europe?
Do you know any? Oh, you mean the thing? Yes, well, I never do anything without consulting my crystal first. Let's go inside here. We'll just come along. I'll show you. There you are, right in there. That's right here. Sit right down here. That's it. Ha, ha. This is the same genuine magic authentic crystal used by the priests of Isis and Osiris in the days of the pharaohs of Egypt, in which Cleopatra first saw the approach of Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, and so on and so on. Now, you'd better close your eyes, my child, this is very long, for a moment. In order to be better in tune with the infinite, we can't do these things without the infinite. Yes, that's all right. Now you can open them. We'll gaze into the crystal. Ah, what's this I see? A house with a picket fence.
All right, so we've gone through a piece of the screenplay there. It's a little obscure scene, but it means a lot to the story.
That is obscure.
Can you get that screenplay?
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Crystal Skulls. 5 crystal skulls.
It was Wizard of Oz. Let's listen to a little more of that scene.
Are you sure?
Let's listen to a little more of that scene.
What's this I see? A house with a picket fence, and a barn with a weather vane, and a running horse.
You see, it's an obscure. There's Dorothy.
No,
Yes, there's
a lot of these lines were also a lot of these lines were also in the Indiana Jones movie. I think as an homage.
That'd be interesting if we could find that out. If anybody knows any interesting Wizard of Oz and Indiana Jones fun facts, I'm interested in those. Send them to dc30minute@gmail.com. We have another one. You want to go through this next screenplay? It should be a little shorter for us there.
Yeah, I got a little confused at that other one. It was pretty long.
Now, whoever reads character 2 here has to read character 3. Which one would you like to read?
I'll do character 1.
All right, whenever you're ready.
You flock of seagulls, you know why we're here. Why don't you tell my man where you got the shit hit at?
It's over there!
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. You were saying?
It's in the cupboard. No, the one by your knees.
We happy? In his Liberace.
All right, nope, that's the next round.
Oh, okay.
So just with those lines, can you say...
Pulp Fiction.
Is your answer Pulp Fiction? Anybody else who's participating, go ahead and write in dc30minute@gmail.com. Send in your answers. Your answer's Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, that's correct.
Hey, good job. How'd you know that one?
I've seen it.
That's great. I love that movie.
I wasn't a
So
fan.
let's go ahead and go to our round 3 here. Would you like to read character 1 or character 2?
I'll do character 1.
All right, let's go ahead. Remember, we're playing Name That Screenplay Movie Edition. So guess that movie by the screenplay. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Should I go?
Go ahead.
In his Liberace diamond-covered souls, it's the worst thing ever.
Ah!
Ha 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 ha.
Did I get sabotaged or am I just stupid?
No, they're both. Look at this. You just don't know how to sit, right?
This chair, man. Fucking chair. It's like the most flimsy chair I've ever fucking met.
I mean...
Now, this is a classic. Can you get this movie? I bet you're going to slap yourself in the face when you realize that you didn't know this movie.
No, I mean, I know what it is. I remember I watched this recently.
Really?
Yeah, it's Jackie Brown, also by Tarantino. This is where, yeah, Robert De Niro's high in it. Are you sure?
You can't be serious. Let's go ahead and play. We missed that scene from Pulp Fiction. We had a little clip, but we're just going to skip that clip, I think, and go right into this last round 3 clip. So the answer there, you guessed a Tarantino movie. Why don't we just see if you can listen to it?
The dialogue sounds very Tarantino.
This chair, man. Fucking chair. It's like the most flimsy fucking chair I've ever met. Yeah. Here we go. There's the Flying Nut High Five.
It was Jackass 3.5.
That sounded like De Niro. That sounded like De Niro in the clip.
It kind of did at the end. We got a little De Niro. Here he gets a little De Niro, though. Bam Margera. Similar face to De Niro, really.
Similar.
Especially these days.
He's rapping now.
Poor guy. Which one, De Niro?
No, Bam, but I would love a De Niro rap album.
I would love that. That's got to be next for him. He's done everything.
Everything.
Well, thanks so much for playing.
Hey, thank you for having me. That was a lot of fun.
That's a good one. Now, I wanted to go through a couple of emails here. Remember, send your emails, send your messages to dc30minute@gmail.com. Play any voicemails, put them in your email, send them this way, and they might get played on the show. Special congratulations today to Derek in Lincolnwood, Illinois, on sending a completed answer sheet and scoring 100% on all of last week's episode's questions. This guy actually filled it out on a piece of paper, took a picture of it, and emailed it.
Can I see the picture?
I'll show it to you after the show. It's really great. We have the best fans here. It's pretty impressive. I'd love to see it. Keep sending them in, everybody. Good job, Derek. Anybody else who's answering those questions at home, send me.
You should do a live show for all your fans.
We really should. We're on our way there. The Lucky Cat right now, I was reached out to. Somebody's talking about we might do multiple podcasts from Eastern Iowa all on one show in a live format and then cycle through. Maybe we do multiple podcasts in one night. Something like that. We're talking about it. Keep an eye out, guys. We're also going to be bumping up our social media game pretty soon, so keep an eye out on that. One of the other things I wanted to play here, we've talked about this show gaining a lot of traction all around the country, and now it's really becoming an international show. We have a voicemail that came in recently, just the last couple of days, from, I think they call it Across the Pond.
Canada?
We do have a few listeners out there, though. I've been looking at the analytics. It's pretty exciting. Let's go ahead and just see what B-Dude has to say.
Big up, David. This a B-Dude calling from the beautiful Caribbean island of Jamaica. Land of sand, sun, blue mountain coffee, and excellent ganja. Me just wanna tell you, say, your show is the real deal, Every time me listen, me just feel happy and laugh. Me love how you always have interesting people on the show too, and me learn something new every time. Keep up the good work, David. Ya make Jamaica proud, man. Bless up. Me and me Rasta brothers smoke up some big bamboo-sized spliffs and do some reasoning while giggling watching your show. Big up, brother. Everything I ram on.
Everything is all right. Thank you so much for sending that in, B-Dude.
Is it B-Dude or B-Do?
The email said B-Dude.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what
He's got a great tone to his voice.
I appreciate him sending that in. I know. I want to get him as a regular on the show. It'd be great to have.
Does he have a podcast?
I might reach out to him. We might get him as a guest if he has anything to promote. But I just like the idea that we have somebody over there that's able to, kind of tell us what's going on. We got a little international correspondent, which is very exciting.
That's part of the European Union.
Jamaica, really?
Yeah, did you know that?
That's interesting.
That's why they call it across the pond.
Oh, it sounds like that. It's time for my favorite segment, World News with David Collins. We got a few things going on in the news today. A few things coming up tomorrow, too. We're going to be talking about a little story from Riley County about a fire. We'll be talking a little bit about Grand Theft Auto. We have a story about the Oscars, of course. The Oscars are coming up, and I think we have something coming on Iowa-related here. But what I wanted to get into first is this local story out of southeast Riley County. Some of you may have been affected. There was a prescribed burn taking place last week that ended up getting out of control. After the planned 300 acres, the burn began to threaten structures in the area of Deep Creek Road. It took 30 firefighters to get things under control. Boy, I wonder how many it takes to change a light bulb. Following the incident, officials want to remind landowners to be careful with prescribed fires. Luckily, nobody was hurt. I bet whoever started that fire felt like a real idiot, huh?
I bet.
You are an idiot.
Boy, I would be embarrassed.
Who sings that?
I'm not sure. We used to love it on the show over at 101.5 K-Rock.
Yeah. Does she have a podcast? I bet she's got a pretty good podcast.
The woman, for somebody who doesn't like podcasts, feels like a lot of people should have a good one.
Yeah, I mean, they're easy. Got like 5 or 6.
How many Patreons do you have? We're thinking about starting a Patreon on the show here. Reach out to dc30minutehalfhour@gmail.com if you have any experience in setting up some way to monetize these shows. Of course, the sponsors are doing a good job, but as we bring in more people, we're going to need to increase the monetization, and we don't want to include commercials in this show.
You had a commercial in the beginning of the show.
That's not more of a shout out. We kind of work something out so that we just talk about it. Yeah, they paid the show.
They paid you for you to...
I was reading stories this week about a lot of an increase of Grand Theft Auto incidents. Apparently, Kias and Hyundais are being stolen by children that learn how to steal it off of TikTok.
I know. I learned how to steal it.
You probably learned how to steal it in Mad Magazine, I'd imagine. Because I was thinking when we were kids, we would do crazy things. We would put sugar in a gas tank, maybe a slice of ham on a driver's side door handle.
It's bologna and it'll strip the paint.
We used ham.
It doesn't work.
We would go to, I have one story, there was a gas station that had a pop machine at the outskirts of town we would like to go hang out with. And one day, it was getting a little late, we opened up the cooler that had the turkeys on it, and we all pissed on all the frozen turkeys. Now,
what the hell would you do a thing like that
We were all crazy kids, I'm sure you got some stories too. I'm saying is, that I would much rather have to go through the inconvenience of somebody taking my car for 30 minutes than to serve a pissed-on turkey to my family.
Yeah.
So I don't know why these stories...
That's the type of marinade the recipe called for.
This guy, Jameson Tate, everybody, look him up. I'll have to bleep
Jameson Cox
Comedy. This guy does not like being shouted out, but keep an eye out.
Shout me out, but shout me out correct. It's the professional thing to do, David.
Do you have a profile that people can follow?
Yeah, I told you in the beginning. Jameson Cox.
His YouTube. Would you plug your YouTube here?
Oh, YouTube is also JCC Comedy or Jameson Cox Comedy. I got both.
And you have other platforms too.
Yeah, right? I got a Gmail
account. It's all
account.
JC Comedy.
Gmail account is JamesonCoxComedy@gmail.com.
All right, reach out to that if you're interested in getting any shows on in Eastern Iowa. This is the guy to book you.
Or you just want to say hi.
You're in Iowa here. You paying attention? We'll have 3 president-elects coming through this month, or this week, in fact.
I did not know that. Will Ferrell was just here.
Will Ferrell was here too.
Oh, is he running?
No, Will Ferrell's not running unless he's running as a Republican. Which, rubbing as a Republican, a little slick there. But, this month, multiple Republican hopefuls will be making their way through the state. Former United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley already is making her second trip to Iowa since announcing her run.
Is she hot?
Don Lemon has recently gotten in trouble. We didn't talk about this on the show, but he was saying that he was she was out of her prime, and now he's facing a lot of backlash because he was judging women in that way. And I don't want to get mixed up in that same type of backlash. I'm going to take a little lesson from Don Lemon today.
And say she's old and ugly?
And go straight to the rest of the story. Ron DeSantis visited Iowa this week, apparently kissed some babies. I got to be careful around you with some of these lines. So where are you going to get me?
And not as careful as you got to be with your babies around DeSantis.
And Trump will be in Iowa Monday.
Oh, really?
I should have planned ahead. Maybe we could have gotten one of them on the show.
I bet we could get Trump.
Now, on the same topic of news here, I thought it'd be fun. The Oscars is tomorrow. It's the 95th Academy Awards ceremony.
That's for music?
It's movies.
That's movie. Oh,
it's movies.
Oh, that's right.
So you might not be very good at this.
No, I mean, I'm pretty good. You saw.
I thought it'd be fun if I gave you 10 seconds and you named as many Best Picture nominees as you could.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Last Picture Show. Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. Top Gun 2. Top Gun Forever. Top Gun, the first one. 1984. A lot of people don't know that.
You got one.
Top Gun?
Top Gun Maverick is on there. Incidentally,
you gotta get your priorities straight.
If you ask me, no, the nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Triangles of Sadness, and Women Talking.
Well, you only wanted me to name the ones from this year?
This year.
Oh, I was just doing all of them from all time.
Listeners, go ahead and email me at dc30minutehalfhour@gmail.com. If he was doing a good job with that game, I'm not really up to going back and checking. But if he does, I'll reach out to him and really give him a good congratulations.
I'll be looking forward to that email.
So you don't watch the Oscars at all? You're not really looking too much attention to that?
Well, I get dressed up for it.
Do you? Do you ever hope that one day Jimmy Kimmel's going to be hosting the Oscars this year? Now,
even after the controversy?
Even after the controversy. Oh. Now, as a comedian, do you hope one day maybe you'll be able to host the Oscars?
Yeah. What do they pay, you know? Oh, but it's a lot of work. You gotta, I mean, that's like a 12-hour a night job. So you gotta pay me pretty good.
Hey, that sound means it's time for our third and last game of the show. That's exciting.
Yep.
The third game is Name the Imposter.
I got one on my mind right now.
We have a few names on the list there. One of them does not fit into the group. It could be a show, it could be groups of an industry, but one of those names does not fit into the group, and we're going to go through those four names, and you'll have to name the imposter. Are you ready to name the imposter?
I'll give it my best shot.
You know, you've been having fun on the show. Why don't you go ahead and read the first list of four names?
Okay, and then I have to pick who is the imposter from
one
this
of those
list?
Names should not be on the list.
Okay, so I'll name all four, and then I'll tell you who shouldn't be on the list.
That'd be perfect.
Okay. Round one, Axl Rose, Slash, Don Henley, Duff McKagan.
All right, well, you seem pretty confident there. Can you say which one is the imposter?
Slash.
So out of... You think Slash is the imposter?
Slash is the imposter.
Give me a little bit of your thinking there. How do you get to Slash as the imposter?
Well, because all the other ones are Irish.
That's an interesting thought. Let's go ahead and take a look. What was the answer there? That's a good guess. Nobody else was probably thinking in that direction. Those are actually all members of Guns N' Roses, the band. Don Henley is actually a member of the Eagles.
But if you go back and check, I'm also correct. So just because that's not how you had it, I'm still correct.
Well, I might have to, you're giving our audience a lot of extra homework today to try to research and double check you.
I turned your one episode a week into 2 episodes. They get to go kind of...
That's true. You have a riddle to solve, everybody, of these questions, and you have Jameson's mischief over there to get to the bottom of.
Next one.
Let's go ahead and get to this next one. Why don't you go ahead? And you're doing a good job at reading those.
Okay. Bill O'Reilly. Round 2. Bill O'Reilly. Stephen Harvey. John Michael Higgins. Leah Remini. The imposter is Stephen Harvey.
And take me through some of your thought process there.
Well, so of all these names listed, everyone has their stage name. Bill O'Reilly's his stage name. All these other people. Stephen Harvey's stage name is Steve Harvey.
Let's take a look. That's a tricky question if that's the answer. Oh, no. I think you're overthinking these, Jameson.
I think I'm getting them. See, the problem is I'm like Brendan Schaub with my thought process. I'm going for higher level stuff.
In the way that you've had brain damage?
We found the answer to your question from before. What makes a good
Bill
comedian?
O'Reilly was the imposter.
Why?
Well, they're all game show hosts. The three of them
Fair
are game
enough.
shows. Bill O'Reilly,
That's-
famously Fox News host and political commentator.
That's
I bet he'd
one-
make a good game show host, though.
That's one potential outcome of this.
Did you know Bill O'Reilly's actually 6 foot tall and 4 inches? Bill
Yeah.
O'Reilly is a tall man.
Let's get on to round 3.
What's he doing these days? Well, you can go ahead and read round 3. You got the list there? I like you reading these ones.
Okay, I do too. So, all right, round 3, Tony Soprano, Carlton, Paulie Guglielmieri, Silvio Dante. This one's easy. The imposter is Carlton.
That's true. Would you like to lock that one in?
Yes, I'd like to lock it in.
All right, let's go ahead and see. You're a little early on that one, so you must be confident. So let's go ahead and see. That's right, it was Carlton. Carlton, also famously, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Those other 3, The Sopranos. They're all characters from The Sopranos.
No, that's not why. The reason he's the imposter is because he's black.
I really appreciate you coming on, and thanks so much for playing Name the Imposter. Did you like that game?
I liked
Did
how
you have
well.
fun on the show today?
Yeah, I like how well I did on that last game that you're not giving me
I think you
credit
did
for.
well in all the games. In fact, we might have to bring you back to compete with somebody else who's also done so well in all the games.
Who?
Derek, the guy who wrote me today. I'm just messing with you. It's our last guest, Austin Ingalls.
Oh, I'll
Great
challenge him.
competitor.
I'll challenge him any day. of the
Did you
week.
have fun today, Jameson?
Actually, I had a blast, man. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I've been a big fan of yours. You know.
Well, you don't need to get me started. I appreciate that. You're completely correct.
Let me just say, happy to be here. I've been a supporter since day 2.
David Collins. 30 minutes. Show with David Collins.